doesn't love an adventure motorcycle, especially in weather conditions like these? In recent times, the number of buyers in the ADV segment have increased drastically, and this is more profound in the entry-level space. Honda, in an attempt to grab a slice of the ADV pie, has launched this motorcycle, the CB200X, in the Indian market. Hello and welcome to DriveSpark. I'm Stephen Neal, and this, the CB200X, is the motorcycle that we're riding today, and we're here to find out what it's all about. So let's go and take a ride. The Honda CB200X looks great, doesn't it? Let's talk about the design and styling for a bit. The motorcycle is based on the CB Hornet, but it derives its styling from the CB500X, which is a great thing because at Rs 1.44 lakh you get the really premium styling. So let's talk about the styling bits. So you've got this tall windscreen up front. It does a great job at deflecting winds. We'll talk about that when we're riding the motorcycle. Now it also gets LED lighting. So the headlamp, tail lamp, indicators are all LEDs, and that is a great thing too. It gets knuckle guards and integrated LED indicators. Also, you've got this really beefy looking tank and the tank shrouds. It makes it look really muscular. And then of course, when you look at the front, you've got the upside down forks finished in a shade of gold, and that gives a really good contrast to the rest of the motorcycle. It looks really nice, and of course, upside down forks is a premium feature. And then you've got the pedal disc up front and at the rear, and then you've got the Y-shaped alloy wheels on which the motorcycle rides. Moving over to the side profile, you've got a really sporty and a muscular look. It looks like a proper ADV, and that is something that we really like. The motorcycle is available in 3 colors. You've got this, which is the matte saline silver metallic. You've also got sports red and pearl night star black. They also look really nice. Now we've got this really cool graphics on the tank right there, and then you've got the split seats. Now moving down here, you've got this sari guard that looks alright. Of course, it's a mandatory thing, so Honda has to provide a sari guard, but they haven't just given a normal sari guard to it. They've added some plastic bits to it that makes it look a little more premium. And moving over to the rear, you've got these really cool grab rails, and then the X-shaped LED tail lamp. Of course, there are a few faux carbon fiber bits here and there, the textures. Over on the other side, you've got the stubby upswept exhaust that looks really cool. It goes with the overall character of the motorcycle very well. And then you've got these knurled foot pegs for the pillion rider, and for the rider you've got the rubber foot pegs, and that just about sums up the design aspect of the Honda CB200X. A long list of features is something that we all really love to have, and let's run through the features list on the Honda CB200X. Starting from the LED lighting, as we mentioned earlier, it gets LED headlamps, LED indicators, LED tail lamp, etc. Mounted right above the headlamp, you've got this really slim and sporty looking LCD instrument cluster. It's a negative LCD. It displays a lot of information. You've got the tachometer, speedometer, odometer. You've got the whole lot of information here. You've got the fuel gauge, you've got the service reminder, etc. It's very comprehensive, but it's all packed in a really slim cluster. It looks really nice as well. The overall shape of the cluster and also the place where it is mounted, it feels really premium. Below the engine, you've got a bash plate. It's made of plastic. That is something that could have been better on this motorcycle. If it was made of metal, this motorcycle's premiumness would have jumped to another level immediately. Now let's talk about the specifications on this motorcycle. It's powered by a 184cc air-cooled engine, pushes out 17 bhp at 8500 rpm and 16.1 Nm at 6000 rpm. A 5-speed gearbox handles transmission duties. Let's talk about the suspension for a bit. It rides on an upside down fork up front and a monoshock at the rear. The fork does not get any adjustability, but the monoshock at the rear gets a 5-step preload adjustment. In terms of brakes, the Honda CB200X makes do with a 276 mm pedal disc up front, and the rear is also a pedal disc, but it's 220 mm. It rides on MRF Zapper curved tires. The tires look really good. When it comes to the grip, let's talk about it when we're riding the motorcycle. Well, that just about wraps up the features and specifications of the Honda CB200X. What does it feel like out on the road? Let's find out. Before we take the motorcycle out on the open road for a ride, let's take a quick look at the exhaust note. And now, let's go ride it. We're astride the Honda CB200X, and well, the first thing you notice is how comfortable this motorcycle really is, and that is largely thanks to this riding position. It feels really comfortable. You've got an upright riding position, and that is thanks to a raised handlebar. As a byproduct of the raised handlebar, you get a really light front end. That light front end is great on narrow trails where you need the motorcycle to be nimble and agile, and that this motorcycle is. But out on the highway, when you're doing high speeds, that light front end, well, it isn't really that great, especially at speeds of over 80 kilometers per hour. In conditions like these, when the roads are wet, well, you hit the brakes and the front end feels really twitchy, and it can be unnerving at times. Now, coming to these MRF Zapper curved tires, the tires feel great on dry roads, but then when the roads get wet, the tires lose a little bit of grip. It can get a little twitchy at the front and at the rear. The brakes offer good feel. The pedal disc brakes does offer good stopping force. For a motorcycle that weighs 147 kilograms, the bike stops really well. Then this windscreen up front makes the ride even more comfortable. At higher speeds, you say you're doing 100 kilometers per hour, the wind blast is deflected very well, and that provides an overall good riding experience. The engine, as we mentioned earlier, puts out 17 bhp at 8500 rpm, and that means you've got a really wide power band to play with. It's very tractable. The motorcycle weighing 147 kilograms only further helps the CB200X perform well out on the open road, and especially in urban areas, even in stop and go traffic, the torque from the get-go is good. It could have been better, but then there's nothing to complain about really, and it feels really refined at low revs, and that further helps you in terms of commuting comfort. So on the whole, Honda seems to have achieved exactly what they set out to with this motorcycle. Feels good on the highway, it can do a bit of soft roading, and well, on your daily commute, it's gonna be really comfortable. After riding the CB200X for quite some time, here are a few things that we really liked about this motorcycle, starting off with the design and styling. It gets proper ADV styling. Even though it's designed to be a soft roader, it isn't really a proper off-roader, yet it gets proper ADV styling, and that is something we really like. Of course, who doesn't like ADV styling? And then of course, let's get to the LED lighting. You get LED lighting all around, as we mentioned earlier, indicators, headlamp, tail lamp. That makes it really premium, and that is something we like as well. Now let's talk about suspension. You get this gold finish upside down fork up front and a monoshock at the rear. This makes it look and feel premium. Then of course, you've got the brakes. The pedal disc brakes are great, and the dual channel ABS further adds to the premium feel. And finally, you've got the engine. It's a very refined unit. It's tried and tested. It's proven it's metal, and now it's powering this motorcycle. We really like the engine. It's very tractable, very refined, very smooth. Well, those are some typical Honda traits, but it's something to really like about this motorcycle. There are a couple of things that could have been better with the Honda CB200X. One of them is the instrumentation. The negative LCD currently used on the motorcycle looks good. It's very slim, but then we feel it could have been bigger and could have displayed more information as well. Also, it lacks connectivity features, which is a miss in today's day and age, where connectivity matters a lot. Now let's get to the bottom. You've got this plastic bash plate under the engine. For an ADV motorcycle, the motorcycle looks like a proper ADV, but that one bash plate is a letdown. It could have been made in metal, and that could have lifted the whole motorcycle to a different level, and that's just about it. For many, ADV motorcycles are all about the capability, but for many more, it's all about the rugged design, the beefy looks, etc. And that is exactly where the Honda CB200X comes into the picture. If you're looking for hardcore off-roadability, you've got the Hero Xpulse 200 to cater to you. However, if you want striking looks, the ability to handle your everyday commute, your weekend rides out of town, and also some off-roadability, you've got the Honda CB200X. That's it from us for now. Do let us know in the comments below what you think of this motorcycle. This is Stephen Neal signing off for DriveSpark.